Hello viewers, welcome to Great Online Training. This is Naidu. In this video, I will explain SAS Certification Topic 5. How to browse a description portion of the data. Let's get started. Right. So if you want to start any browsing of a description portion of the data, if you want to know the description portion of the data, so we have to write some procedure. Before that, what is this description? What exactly you get to know from this particular class? Very simple. Just imagine I have a folder on my desktop. So I want to know all the properties of my desktop containing this folder. I just right click on it. I'll go to the properties and then I can see all the properties of my file. It is just created on my desktop and it have some files with some MB of file. It's in around 688 MB and it have some internal files around 255 files inside, around 30 folders inside or something like that. You will have a complete description about the folders. I can able to get it. It's the same way in my data set of my SAS. So let me just open my SAS. Here in my libraries, so there are many libraries. I'll go for a SAS Help Library. In this we have many data sets. So I want to know, so just imagine I want to go for a class data set wise. I want to know all the properties of this data set, like how many variables, how many observations we have, and what is the file size, and all the descriptions, like when it is created, who has created, and which location it is stored, how many character variables, how many numerical variables in this data set. So how I will able to identify? Very simple thing I need to write. Just writing a statement called proc. Proc means it's a procedure. Print means you are telling a SAS to print it. Data equal to your dataset name. I'm just writing my dataset name here. So the dataset which is available here in SAS Help Library. So I have to make sure to write SAS Help dot. So you need to mention which dataset you want to select it. That is a class dataset. I'm interested to select it. Semicolon and run. So that's it. So proc print data equal to your dataset name SAS help dot class and all. What it will do? It will just print the information. That means the dataset containing information it will get printed. So by just looking into this one, what you get to know is it is like a data portion. We know that okay, we have around 5 variables, around 19 observations we have in the data. But now my interest is to browse a description portion, like a how many variables, how many observations, how many character variables, how many numerical variables, and all the information I want it. Instead of just writing a proc print, you just make sure to write it as a proc means it's a procedure. CONTENTS, contents we call it as a data equal to, just write it the dataset name. I'm just writing it here. So which is there, that is your SAS Help Library containing dataset of class dataset. I'm just printing it. The only difference is above program and this one. Above program we use to browse the data portion, but this program we use to browse the description portion of the data. So if I run the program, so that you can see all the properties of your dataset. So it is saying the dataset name is SAS Help dot class, that is correct, and member type, it is a data type. I used a version 9, so that means I just used this particular SAS software is a version 9 software. So yes, it is right, it's a 9.4. I'm just using it. And created on, actually this dataset has created when I have installed a SAS in my computer. That time I can able to just have this particular dataset created. So that particular, when this particular dataset is got created and all the properties you can see, and when it is last modified after creating my dataset onwards, I haven't done any changes to my data. So that means the created date and modified date will be the both also same, so that you will have the same. And we are coming to here observations wise, around 19 rows, and observations in the sense as per the SAS terminology. So we have around 19 rows here and 5 variables. That means 5 columns and 19 rows we have in the data. And apart from that, where it is there, the data, so the data it is stored in this particular SAS Foundation 9.4 SAS Help Library class dot SAS 7BD80. It is very important. Dot SAS 7BD80 is the extension of SAS dataset. So .SAS7BD80 is the extension. So in this particular location, so this particular server path we have it in this location, this particular data set is got saved. And apart from that, you can see how many variables we have it. As I said, around 5 variables. Yes, the 5 variables also displayed here. And we are coming to here, the type you can see num and char. Num means it's a numerical variable, so age is a numerical variable, height is a numerical variable, name and sex is the 2 character variables in my data. Again, weight is also numerical variable, we have it right now. And one more called length. So the length also it will tells that default the variable length of each variable, it is in a 8 character long by default. So that default it's 8 character long, and here also 8 character long, and here it's 8 character. Sex is a variable, I have it M and F or something like that. So the length is already specified as a 1, so that the length of that particular character variable sex is 1 character long. And weight also default 8 character long, you can take it. So you can see it here. So that means all the variables whatever you displayed in your output, it is just giving a detailed description about your variables and observations and all, you get it. By default, when you write a proc contents, what happen? It will just display the variables with all the information, like how many variables and how many observations and all those stuff. You are getting it. Now, when you just see a result here, why the variables in a 3, 4, 1, 2, 5? Because the variables which is there in the data set is just listed as per the alphabetical order wise. That's the reason why age is a capital letter first, then followed by H, then followed by N, then followed by S and W or something like that. It is just displaying. Instead of displaying this particular variable in a order wise, that is your alphabetical order wise, I am interested to display this particular variables in a creation order wise, because when I created this particular SAS, I created my variables like a first variable is name, second variable is sex, then followed by age, then followed by height and weight. This is how I created in my data set. But right now all this information is just displaying like in a improper order. Now if you are interested to display the variables in order wise, you write a extra statement here saying it var num. So var num is the statement we use to display the variables in a number wise. Earlier the variables are displayed in the form of what I can say, variables are displayed in the form of like alphabetical order, but now you can see that the variables will be displayed in the form of creation order wise. Now you can see that name, sex, age, height, weight and all just displayed like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is the use of a var num statement. Very important question in your certification exam. What is the purpose of var num statement? When you are putting a var num statement in your proc content step, the variables will be displayed in a number wise, you can able to see in your proc contents. Now the second one is here, right? So whatever the information you just displayed right now, the client is expecting how you are going to save this particular all the information as a data set. So data set in the sense it is like a looks like an Excel sheet, how you are going to save it. So how you can save it? Right now it is in the form of HTML files. If you want to save all this information as a table format, you need to write the same program. You just copy it from here and just paste it. Do it. Instead of just writing a var num statement, write a statement called out equal to, so that by using out statement you can create a new dataset name if required. So what happened? Whatever the output you generated, all the information you are just storing it into your new dataset of your KK. If I try to execute the program now, so you are executing a new program, so that means you have done. So what happened? You just created a new dataset called KK, where it will be get saved. By default it will go to your libraries place. Let me just go to my work library. I just created my new dataset name KK. You can see that all the information. So whatever you have it in the proc contents, all this information will be get stored into this particular dataset. How it will be stored? You can see the library name. You already know that the library name is here. So one is libname. Libname means you already know that it's a SAS help.class. What is memname? So another variable is memname. Memname is nothing but the dataset name. Also call it as a memname. So it will be get stored. And apart from that, the mem label. So the label of that particular data set, every data set have some label. So even my data set also have some label. The label of that particular data set is a student data. Another type is called type. So their type, in that type we have it, it's a character or numeric. So that also you can able to get it. And apart from that, name information also you can able to get it. That means name is one variable, I have it. Another one is length. Default length of each variable wise, if you want, you can get that information. Variable in a number wise, I said earlier. So the variables wise, number wise, if you want to see that information, you can see the label of the variable and all the contents, whatever you are just displaying it, all this information you can store it as a SAS data set and you can see. So that is the use of this option of out statement. We can browse all the description portion as a new output data set. So what happened, this is all the information I just displayed for only one particular data set. Imagine the client interest is in my SAS help, there are many data sets available. All the data sets wise, I need to see the property in one data set. So what I can do is I can write it proc means procedure contents, contents contents, I'm writing it, data equal to my new data set name, I'm just specifying it. So that is my SAS help dot underscore all underscore. So what it will do, it will display the properties of all the data set. As of now, we have seen the properties of only one data set, but now I am interested to see the properties of all the data sets. I can get it. So if I run it, what happen? It will be get displayed in your output window, but I'm not interested to display the output in output window. I'm interested to save this particular information as a new data set. Then I can write it by saying it an option called out equal to the new dataset name. I'm just writing it. I can write it a new dataset name, some LL or something like that. I'm just keeping a name and I have to give a semicolon here and click run. So I just done it. Now I'm just clicking a run symbol. So now you can see it will take some time than normal, because earlier we used to run the program only for one particular dataset, but now it is just running for all the datasets which is there in the SAS Help library. So it will take a longer time to execute it all, so that now all the properties of all the libraries wise information you can able to get it. All the datasets wise information you can able to get it. Right now the SAS is saying the size of the result is greater than 3 MB. The reason behind that is why this message is showing I have a limit of my web page to be displayed. I just kept it only 3 MB to be displayed. That's the reason why it is just displaying up to 3 MB. So if you just allocate more size, then automatically you can display all the properties of all the data set. Right now I can't able to display all the information as an output, but at the same time I can able to create a new data set. Will have all the values. That means in my SAS Help library, whatever the data sets I have it, all the data sets wise information I can store it as a SAS data set if required. That means whatever the output you generated by using a proc contents, if you want to store that information as a SAS data set, it is possible by using an option called out. So that is the use of this particular contents, and this is how we generally browse the description portion of the data. So thank you for watching, and I'll meet you in the next video. So if you like this video, please hit like and please subscribe to my channel if you are watching this video very first time, and click on the bell icon for latest updates and upcoming videos notifications. Thank you.